Today I'm talking with Autumn Echo, the creator and slam master of Pulse Poetry Slam, a monthly poetry slam right here in Jamestown. Autumn, for anyone who doesn't understand what a poetry slam is, what exactly is it?
Well, a poetry slam is actually a competition, so it's not really a sort of scenario where someone would just be coming and reading a poem off of a piece of paper or something like that. It would be more of a performance and more of an engaging experience. So what happens is individuals who come to the poetry slam will sign up. I have sign-up sheets at every one of the events. And so we usually have around 7 to 10 performers, and they will compete in a 2-round competition. I pick 5 random audience members to be the judges. I give them a dry erase board, each of them. And they judge each performance on a scale of 0.0 to 10.0, decimal points included. And they'll judge the performance on the style and the content and different aspects of the performance that they find impressive. So we tell people, to be fair with their judging, don't give super, super high scores like 10s and 9.5s if you don't feel like it was a life-changing experience. But don't give a 0 unless you want a poet to beat you up, because it could be really bad for them. So we have the 2 rounds. Usually if there's too many poets, we'll slice it down to like 7 performers or 5 for the second round, and they'll go again for a second round. We drop the lowest score and the highest score, combine the 3 middle, and whoever has the highest score after the 2 rounds is the winner.
Very, very technical.
Yes, I think that's one of the things that
I'll leave the math
individuals
to you.
don't realize. Yeah.
But that's good to be very specific and have your rules and regulations to make everything fair. So you've been writing poetry for quite a while yourself? Yeah,
absolutely. I've been writing poetry myself since I was really quite young, probably like 7 or 8 years old. Performance poetry is a little different, though. I'd write a couple lines when I was younger, but now it's turned into something really different. I've been writing poems that I can perform.
Right. I'm sure it's totally different from sitting at a desk writing whatever you want to putting kind of a show together.
Absolutely. And it changes the structure of the poem and the rhythm and everything. So it's a whole different experience for sure.
Cool. What exactly got you interested in doing the poetry slams?
I actually discovered spoken word poetry and performance poetry online. Shane Koizan was one of the first spoken word poets that I discovered. His poetry totally changed the way that I felt about poetry and writing in general. Then I discovered slam poetry on YouTube. Button Poetry is the one specific channel that you can find a lot of that on. And in turn, the poetry slams and the competition aspect of performance poetry, and I was totally hooked after I discovered that.
And that led to, for some reason, doing your own poetry slam and setting it up in Jamestown?
Yeah, it's a really great story, actually. I had the opportunity, thank goodness, to meet an individual who goes by the name of Brandon Williamson, and he's actually the slam master of the Pure Ink Poetry Slam in Buffalo.
Okay.
He came to the Prendergast Library for the Big Read in 2014. We discussed the poetry of Emily Dickinson and then had a poetry slam there. And Brandon saw that there could be a real appeal for a poetry slam in Jamestown. So he gave me some advice and really pushed me to try to start a poetry slam myself in Jamestown. So that's what I ended up doing.
That's what usually happens. I see that all the time. Just somebody says, why aren't you doing it? So this month's Poetry Slam is actually tomorrow, Thursday, 7th. Yeah, May 7th at 6 p.m. at the Infinity Cafe. And that's right down, what is that, off of 3rd Street?
The entrance for the performance space is 3rd Street. All of the events at Infinity are free and open to the public. They're also family friendly, so all ages are welcome, and we try to keep the event really clean, family friendly. Nothing too crazy going on there, but it is open for individuals to really just put their poetry out there and kind of gauge the reaction and see what they think of it.
Cool. All right, so check that out tomorrow night, and follow Pulse Poetry Slam on Facebook and Twitter. I'm saying way too much, but also on a quick note, we've rebuilt the set. Can't really tell, it's the same curtain, but we've built the set in a new location. We've got new videos on the way, and check them out. Subscribe, like, do all that fun jazz on the internet that you do.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz hands. Not really, no. Great. Bringing in the awkwardness, Paul.
Thank you very much, Paul, for having me.
Thank you for coming on. The first video coming back, actually.
You're welcome.
How do you feel about that?
Feels great. It's my first time being on here, so.
Yeah, cool. All right.